But overall, these two shoes are still really solid daily trainers. But if I had to choose one of these, well, for me, shoe comparison I've got for you guys today, we've got the brand new Wave Rider 28 up against the Brooks Glycerin 21. So we're going to go through their similarities, their differences and their key features, and hopefully from that, that's going to give you guys a great indication of choosing the right shoe for you. But before we get into it, a massive shout out to my #1 running store, the Running Company at Geelong. I've got a link to their website in the description. Make sure you go check out that and check out all their running gear. And if you guys want to support this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Right, so checking out our quick specs here. Now, what is certainly jumping out to me is the stack height. So when you put these two shoes on, it's very evident that Brooks do not measure their stack heights the same way as the other brands do, because the Brooks shoe definitely feels like it's got much more stack, especially through the forefoot. Now, in the price, I think the price difference is warranted because the Glycerin does feel like the more premium shoe. It's got more premium materials. Yeah, there's not too much difference here in the weight either. I can tell you on foot, the Mizuno does feel slightly lighter. Right, so in your upper here, material that they're using in the Mizuno is a jacquard air mesh. Now this material is nice and light, it's very breathable and nice and flexible as well. Conforms really nicely around the foot. For the rest of the shoe, heel counter wise, we've got a really solid heel counter here. Padding wise, we've got probably moderate to a plush amount of heel padding, not overly done though. We've got a cool little heel flare here, which is really nice. Now our tongue as well is nicely padded, probably a medium amount of padding. It's not one of those big cushy tongues that's going to soak up a lot of sweat. And this tongue also has lots of breathing holes, so it feels quite light and airy on the foot. So that just complements the rest of this air mesh that this shoe is using. Pretty standard lacing system here with Mizuno, nothing to report here. Now the fit in this shoe is true to size. It may be a little long for some people, but for me, I'm going with true to size. And we've got a really wide toe box here. Lots of volume in the toe box as well. So you guys with a bit wider foot will probably get along with this one as well. Now overall comfort of this shoe is pretty nice, and the build quality is also pretty good as well. Now in our Glycerin 21, what they have got here is a engineered warp knit. So this material it's certainly thicker and it does feel like the more premium material, but it is same as a normal knit. It is quite stretchy just where you need it. Heel counter, again, really solid heel counter here, probably more solid that you're going to get in the Wave Rider. Plush padding around the heel collar here, very, very nice. And it sort of feels like memory foam, so really premium materials that they're using here. Now the tongue, yeah, really plush as well, very padded. We don't have a gusseted tongue on the Glycerin 21, and I forgot to mention we do have a Glycerin. We do have a gusseted tongue on the Wave Rider. Again, standard lacing system here with Brooks, no bells and whistles. I have got some nice plush laces though as well to go with the plush shoe. Now this shoe, in the fit, I'm going to say true to size again, but this one may come up a little short for some people. And that's just because it's got so much padding in the heel here, it's going to push your foot forward a little bit than your normal size. So just be wary about that. The toe box, I'm going to say it's on the medium side, so certainly not as wide as the Wave Rider. And the build quality, excellent with Brooks, and stepping comfort, amazing as well. So if I've got to pick a winner over these two uppers, believe it or not, I'm going to go the less premium version. I like the really simple design and this light and airy mesh in the Mizuno. So in our outsoles here, so our Mizuno is using their X10 blown rubber, and as you can see there, this is a daily trainer, so it's got daily trainer coverage. Pretty much anything that's touching the ground on this Mizuno is covered in their rubber. Now what is interesting to note on the bottom of this outsole as well, they've got a big sort of flex groove or a crevice right through the middle of the shoe. And it's certainly nice and wide at the back, and obviously that's just going to add to the ride of the shoe. It's going to add a little bit more cushion to it. But lots and lots of rubber here in the high wear areas, and obviously lots in the front as well. Now this X10 rubber is extremely durable, really, really nice. Grip is still okay. It can get a little bit slippery in the wet, but nothing of concern here. Now what I will mention as well, in the design, what they're doing lately in the design of these outsoles is that you'll notice that they're not if they're covering a lot of the shoe, they're not joining the whole shoe just with one piece. They've actually got it in segments, and that's what you can sort of see here in the Glycerin as well. So when you've got that outsole rubber in segments, that again adds to the ride. It actually allows the midsole to splay, and it's not constricted so much by this outsole. So adding in the Glycerin 21, so outsole here, great rubber coverage again. Probably got a little bit more here on the Mizuno, but this one again is complementing the ride here. You'll notice that it's all in segments, just letting that midsole splay. And again with this shoe, we've got a nice big flex groove through the middle of the shoe, again adding to the ride, adding to the flexibility of the shoe. But yeah, lots of rubber here in the high areas, just where you need it. Now, durability of this shoe, it's going okay. Probably got close to 200 Ks on this shoe. But it's showing lots of signs of wear here, just where I strike the ground, but the rest of it looks pretty much untouched. No issues with the grip in this one. Again, as or normal, they do get a little bit greasy in the wet, but nothing of concern here. And in our midsole, so in the Wave Rider, foam that they're using here is their Mizuno Energy. So that is their standard EVA foam, and that's taking up the majority of the foam in this shoe. So it's the top layer, as you can see, all the way to the rear, and it is the entirety of the forefoot. Now that foam, as I said, it's just the EVA, it's just a standard foam. There's not a lot of spring or bounce in that foam. Under that, they have got a plant-based wave plate. So as you can see, that's going from about the midfoot all the way to the rear of the shoe, giving the rear of the shoe and the midfoot a little bit of structure and allowing the front half of the shoe still to have some flexibility. Now, under the wave plate, they have got the brand new foam. So Mizuno Energy NXT, that's the foam that they're using in the Neo Vista. So that brand new super trainer that's really light and it's really bouncy, this foam. Lots of really enjoyable foam, but they've just got it in this shoe, just in the rear here. So just on the heel, just to give this shoe a little bit of softness, which is much needed. Now, in our Glycerin 21, we have got just a full slab here of their DNA Loft V3. So this foam is nitrogen fused. So it's a very different feeling shoe than what you're going to get in the Wave Rider. But as I said, it's got no plate or anything like that. It's quite a flexible shoe as well. Now, in the geometry in this shoe has got a little bit of forefoot rocker geometry, and it's more evident in this shoe than certainly over this shoe. So this one does look like it has got a little bit of a rocker at the front, but you can't really feel it in this shoe. But certainly you can feel it in the Glycerin. Right, so in the ride, so what you're going to get out of the Mizuno, or my experience in the Mizuno so far, so it's on the firmer side. So it's one of the firmest daily trainers that I've pretty much ever run in, or that is for a long time, especially in the forefoot. So I'm not getting much compression, much bounce, or much energy return out of this forefoot. And again, I'm actually not getting as much softness or squish or cushion through the rear, which I thought it was. Overall, yeah, I was very surprised with how firm this shoe is. And obviously that firmness translates into stability, so it does feel like a very stable, solid shoe. However, I'm probably yearning for a little bit of softness, a little bit more, or a little something. So my first few runs felt quite harsh. It's starting to soften up a little bit now, but still definitely on the firmer side. Yeah, it's more of a responsive shoe, so especially on the forefoot, but at all, it doesn't feel like it's going to be a fast shoe. I'm really surprised with the new Mizuno Energy NXT in the heel. You can't really feel it at this stage. Like, there is a little bit of softness and a little bit of bounce there, but definitely I'm looking for more. You can definitely feel how high this offset is in this shoe. So it's a 12mm offset. And due to this foam not really compressing so much, you actually feel like you're always on the wedge of the shoe. So the rear sits much higher than the front, and I can feel that when I run. So it sort of feels like I'm always running on a wedge, and I can't, well, it definitely doesn't get the best out of my foot strike. I think the people that are going to get the most out of this shoe are certainly those really heavy heel strikers that are really going to give this rear heel a bit of a pounding and really sink into it. And in the Glycerin 21, so what you're going to get here, when comparing it to the Wave Rider, you're going to get a much softer ride. So this foam is certainly much softer than the Wave Rider. However, in comparison to other daily trainers on the market, this is certainly not as soft as they come. So this foam, whilst being soft, it's got some energy. It's more springy. It's got life into it. It's got some energy return. It's got some pop, but it's not overly bouncy. There's not a lot of sink into this shoe. Yeah, it's just very consistent. It's very resilient, this nitrogen foam. I think it's certainly a lot comfortable. This ride is a lot more comfortable for me to run in over the Mizuno. It's still a stable shoe, and I think this one is probably going to get along with a lot more runners than what the Wave Rider will. But this nitrogen foam, it can handle a lot of paces, so it's fine going really, really slow. It can also pick up the pace just a little bit because you've got that little bit of pop in this nitrogen foam. As I said before, you can certainly feel the rocker far more in this shoe than what you can in the Wave Rider. The ride of the Wave Rider feels very, very traditional to me, so probably one of the most traditional rides I've felt for a long time. But this one, it certainly feels a little bit more new age, a little bit more bounce, a little bit of softness, a little bit of rocker. So just wrapping it all up here. Now, if you're a runner that's never tried the Wave Rider before and you're looking at this one for the first ever time, I think you're going to find it a very firm and quite a harsh ride if you're not used to that that Mizuno Energy foam. Again, you're also going to feel like you're on quite a high pitch, so like you're on your tippy toes just a little bit with this shoe. So you just need to make sure you chat to your specialist in your running store just to find out if this shoe is going to be right for you. I know the people that are already Wave Rider lovers, they're probably going to love the upgrades in this shoe because they're really going to appreciate that that NXT foam in the rear of the shoe. They're really going to appreciate that little bit of softness. But for you other runners that aren't usually accustomed to the Wave Rider, it may still feel pretty firm to you guys. But overall, these two shoes are still really solid daily trainers. But if I had to choose one of these, well, for me, I'm definitely not a Wave Rider fan. I haven't been a Wave Rider fan for a long time. So for me, this is the better experience for me. But obviously, it's not going to work for everyone. As I said, if you're a Wave Rider fan and you know what the Wave Rider is all about, you know about the Mizuno Energy foam, and you're fine with that, you're fine with the high pitch, then again, you are really going to appreciate the upgrade of this. But I honestly think most runners are going to get along more with the Glycerin. But anyway, guys, that is it from me. Interested to hear your thoughts on my comparison between these two shoes. If you've got any questions, please just drop that in the comments below. And again, if you've got your own experience in either of these two shoes, feel free to share that and drop that in the comments below. And anyway, guys, that's it from me. Thank you for watching. Make sure you give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.